What's going on, everybody? New look. It's not our permanent look. We're going to stick with our old look, but I'm doing this from here because I'm doing something a little bit different. I want to talk about two controversial cards, and I want you guys to chime in. These are cards that I think timeout. I don't know that they're controversial rather than error cards. And the two cards I want to talk about are the 1969 Mickey Mantle Topps and the 1989 Billy Ripken. Two very, very different error cards, but still really awesome cards that have increased in value quite a bit over the course of the last, well, the Ripken, no doubt, has increased in the last couple years. It's literally skyrocketed. But that's from my generation. So I remember the Ripken card. I don't remember all the variations that I've learned about and that I've studied um to talk to you guys about it. But I do know about I knew about most of them, but I didn't know about a few of them, which I'll get to. But I want to start with the Mantle card, the 1969 Mantle card. So there were two variations. The first one was a it was the one that everybody generally got. It was uh the yellow writing. It was the yellow writing. And um the last name's in yellow, first name's in in white. So it was, you know, that's what everybody knew. And most people didn't even know about the error card or the variation of that card until much later. And the next one was the variation was, check that out, was the white letter, was the last name Mantle was in white letters. And I'm going to give you just a little backdrop of what it was. There's two different stories. First story is that Topps made a mistake, and that's what they did. They made a mistake, and they created they you know they created some of the cards with white ink, and with no intention of creating an error, but they did, and it was fixed, or however it went down. Uh Second, which is the one I like to think, and I that's the one I sort of latch myself onto, is Topps didn't know what they were doing, and they create so here they knew Mantle. Mantle retired after 1968. So this card, like, he's in the 69 set, but he never played in 1969. So the reality is that they created this card of one of the greatest players, and at this point, the rookie Mantle's rookie card was a well-known collectible in the baseball, in baseball cards at that point. And they created another variable of this is a rare Mickey Mantle card, right? That's the one I like to latch onto, and I really do like it. But give you a little details. So, a in regards to just the common, the yellow with the yellow ink in his last name, a PSA 10 has sold for I want to say I think it's approximately about $150,000 is what a PSA 10, and then a PSA 9 is approximately about 30,000. If you wanted to go out and buy a nice 1969 yellow version, 500 $700, and you're going to get a really nice card. You'll get a nice card, which is good, and it's just a solid card to put in your collection. Now, now the white variation with the white name, with the white ink in his last name. This is nuts when you guys hear this. A PSA 9 recently sold for close to $1 million of that card. That's nuts. So think about this. I believe there is one pop PSA 10 in existence. That card would sell well into the millions. Well, into the millions. That's nuts to me. And, you know, if you wanted to just buy a really nice looking one of the variation of the error version, 5,000, 5, 6, $7,000, and you're gonna get a really, really nice card. No doubt. Okay. So there's my first with the Mantle. Love Mantle, love the card. We got it in the collection. How cool is that, right? Because this collection is just massive. And it's so much fun to share and to think that we have that card. And by the way, when you look at that card, that's a really nice card. It's a little bit off center, a little bit right to left and top to bottom, but generally speaking, it's a gorgeous card. That's the collection. That's why I love this collection. Okay. So the next one that I want to talk about, the 1989 Billy Ripken. And I don't even know if I can say it, but F face is on the bottom of the bat. And I'm going to start with the story first. So there's it's always been thought that um again, there's multiple stories, and this is the story that I knew of before I literally got I was told something firsthand from the actual photographer who took the picture and then got the story from the brothers themselves later on. But at the time, what they had said was that Billy Ripken labeled the bottom of his bats himself. And he grabbed it. The photographer grabbed him to take a picture. He forgot that he was holding the bat that he was holding, and the picture was taken. That is the story that I had always heard of for years and years and years. Well, then and I think that was a little bit to save Cale's humor side, or the fact that he would write something like that on the bottom of the bat, because the quote unquote true story of what happened was Cal wrote that on the bottom of the bat, knowing, either that Billy was going to be taking pictures, or as a joke, as an ongoing joke to mess with his brother. And ultimately the picture got taken, and then that story never came out, because I mean, Cal was pretty pure when you think about it. He was pretty pure, man. He was awesome. He was pretty legit. And that's the backdrop of the story. And I think you could go read up on this. There have been so many articles written, but what I'm going to latch onto is I received a story through a very good friend of mine who was at a show. He met the actual photographer who took the picture. He looked up the photographer. Everything was legit. And and basically the photographer told him the story that Cal wrote on the bottom of the bat and was messing with his brother, and then this all happened. And it turned out to be one of the most I think it's cool as heck, but one of the coolest error cards ever to be printed. And it got fixed really quick. So there's 5 variations. Okay. And in this collection, I'm going to show you 3 of them. Unfortunately, I do not have 2 of them. The first one is the actual F face card. That is, that was what was printed originally. And it's very clear, very clear. And it's pretty funny. Um, I don't ever remember opening it and seeing that specifically and going, "Oh my god, look at what that." I found out about it a little bit later. Uh, and I was a senior in high school when these cards came out. Yep. So the next one would be the black scribble, and this one's pretty rare. It's pretty rare. Uh, and then the next one is the black box. There you go. I'm not saying these in order because nobody knows the actual order. Flair has never really disclosed the order that they did all this. There's two other variations: whiteout and then white scribble. So there's 5 variations of this card, and they all take on a huge different, like, take on a different value. So I looked them all up, and recently, so the F face PSA 10, you can pick one up for about 800, $900. And, population, the graded population of that is the graded 10 is 2,992. The next one is a whiteout. This is the most expensive one, and it's about $8 to $10,000 a PSA 10, and the pop is 16 graded 10s of the whiteout. The next one is the white scribble, and that's about $8,000 plus, pop 14. And then you have the black scribble, and that is going to run you about $700. That's going to run you about 700 for a PSA 10. Pop is 284 on that. Yep, the pop is 284. Then the most common, which I think is what they settled into, was the black box. Believe it or not, still a PSA 10. It's $90. And the pop on this is 1160. And in case you don't know, pop means 11 population. It's PSA population of the card at a 10, and that's 1160. So I love this stuff, right? Check it out. We have some of the greatest error cards ever printed in this collection. That's the cool part. And who knows if we'll find the white scribble or the whiteout of the Billy Ripken? Who knows? But I love sharing with this stuff with you guys. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't remember what I learned in high school or college or whatever, but I remember this stuff and I love this stuff. Like, I gobble this stuff up. I do. I love this knowledge. It's awesome, and it really fills my cup. And and I enjoy it, and I enjoy sharing it with you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Subscribe. Go check out our other platforms, and you guys, thank you so much. You guys take care.